Hey Zaza. Hey Dad. How are you guys? Hey Jasir. Jasir. Jas? I don't know how you say your name, I'm sorry. Jasir. Jasir Afwan. I'm good, thanks. Zaza, how are you? Hey Red Devil. I'm good, thank you. How are you? Good. I'm just gonna light my candle. My day has been good, thank you for asking. Very busy. So I need to wind down a little bit. Yes, lovely to see everybody. I'm just going to wait until maybe a couple more people come in and then just go straight into meditation. Hey Teddy, welcome back. Nice to see you again. Thank you. Hey. I did have a good day, thank you. How was your day? If you're in the live, say hi guys. Tell me where you're from. Hello, Suresh. Loved me before. Glad to hear it. It's been a long, but can't wait for the weekend. Okay. Hey Stephen, welcome back. Hey Tim, welcome back. Nice to see you guys again. From Dublin. Nice. Got a football match this weekend, praying for a win. Yes. Sure you're gonna do great. Africa leads. Thank you, Snoop Parrot. Stephen. Not quite. But it's funny. Jonathan from USA. Before we go into a chat today about spiritual stuff, I want to do a meditation because, for one, I didn't really have time to meditate today. And so I just thought, let's just do it together. So I'm going to invite you guys to close your eyes. If you want to close your eyes, get comfortable first. Find a comfortable spot. And then when you're ready, I invite you to close down your eyes. And just begin by bringing your attention to your breath. I'm going to be breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And just start to elongate your breath, just making that breath a little bit longer than usual. Following your breath with your attention all the way into the nostrils, down into the belly or the lower back. And just taking another couple of deep breaths. I'm going to leave you to just focus on your breath for a little while whilst I put some music on. I'm not going to talk too much during this meditation. I'm just going to set the intention for us to connect through the energetic realms. Just take 20 minutes or so to invite some stillness into the body, into the mind. Just going to practice accepting whatever is alive in us right now. If you want to, something I really like to do to invite more spaciousness into my being is to focus my attention on the sound of the music, just listening as you continue to take deep breaths. If you notice your mind starts to take you away from the music, just gently bringing your attention back. Focusing your attention back on the music. You still have your eyes closed. I invite you to invite a little bit of movement back into your body as you bring yourself back into the room. Just slowly, gently easing yourself out of the meditation, maybe a little stretch with the arms, maybe a little roll of the shoulders, waking the body up, maybe some hip circles, and when you are ready, I invite you to open up your eyes. How's everyone feeling? almost fell asleep there, to be honest. I was so tired. But it felt good. I feel so relaxed now. Me too. It was nice to meditate with you guys. I'm going to invite you to do something that I like to do to help me be present, bring myself into the present moment, into my center. And that is to just look around wherever you are, whether that is in a room that you, in your house, or if you're outside. Maybe you're somewhere that you spend a lot of time in. Maybe you are somewhere new. Just notice. And look around the room as if you had fresh eyes, or look around wherever you are as if you had fresh eyes. As if you just landed on planet Earth. What do you notice about the different textures? Maybe the different plants, or the light shining. Very good meditation to do. Today when I was in the woods, I was looking around. I was like spinning around in circles, looking around the woods. I was just like, wow, there's so many trees. And I could just feel the aliveness of the forest. And I was amazed at how many trees there were. And how they all have their own little personalities. And I love connecting with trees because they really do have their own energy field, each one of them. When you really tune in with a plant and an animal, you can really notice their unique essence, just like humans. I think with trees it takes a little bit more tuning in because we're not used to doing it. Our mind can like really get in the way if we're trying to connect with a plant or with a tree, because there's a lot of, I don't know, belief in the collective energy field that it's maybe a little bit weird or that it's very woo-woo and it's a bit, I don't know, out there, but the more I do it, the more I notice the unique energy field of each tree, each individual tree. And with plants as well. And mushrooms. Have you ever hugged a tree? Yes, I have. Have you? I have like a few trees in the area that I live where there's one that I have spent more time with, so I feel like I have a stronger relationship with that tree because I've just spent a lot of time with it. I love to be in the woods, be in nature. I think nature can teach us a lot about slowing down, taking one step at a time, allowing for our evolution to unfold without forcing. Guys, say hi if you're here. Let us know whereabouts in the world you're from. What time are the manifestation lessons? Okay, we can chat about manifestation. Something I was listening to today. It was like a Neville Goddard video. I don't know if it's really Neville Goddard or not because I think it's like someone making AI videos. But anyway, it was good wisdom, so I don't mind. One of the lines that he said was, what grows in a field depends on what has been planted and tended to. And it's a really good reminder to be aware of what seeds we are planting with our thoughts, what self-concepts we are tending to, because these are going to have a massive effect on what we manifest. Thanks, Saza. If we are consistently thinking thoughts that are out of alignment with our higher self, then this will be reflected in our reality. The good thing is you always know when you're thinking thoughts that are out of alignment with your higher self by the emotions that you're feeling, because our emotions are a direct reflection, message telling us that we are what we're thinking. So if we're thinking thoughts that are out of alignment with our higher self, we're going to feel more challenging and painful emotions. It's a signal from our higher self to say, look, you're thinking thoughts that are out of alignment. It's like a really intelligent alarm system. And when we feel more at peace and we're feeling more expansive, and we know that we are thinking thoughts that are in alignment, this gives us a lot of information on what we want, what our divine desires are. Desires can be a very divine thing when they are calm and peaceful. And we assume that we have the ability to create what it is that we desire. That's why it's so important for us to learn to go inwards and listen to what is coming up in our bodies. And if we notice that we are thinking thoughts that are out of alignment, then we can bring ourselves back to the present moment. Is anyone currently feeling stuck with anything in life? Let me know in the chat. Maybe I could help you get back into alignment. Maybe there's one thing in your life that you're currently noticing is a challenge. Maybe it's something that keeps coming back. Yummy, sending you love right now. Thank you for sharing. Hannah Lucy, I have a fear of being perceived, meaning you're scared of what people are thinking about you. I have a practice that you can do if anyone is feeling the same. Something I really relate to, actually, and something that has been a massive challenge for me, especially as I'm very active on social media and have been doing that for years. And so that comes with a lot of fear of how people perceive me. And one thing I've learned many things, but one thing I've learned is that how someone perceives you is actually telling you information about their state of consciousness, because we're all mirrors of each other. So if someone is sending you hate, or if someone is not liking something you're doing, if you're triggering something in someone else, that's telling you about their state of consciousness. And you can use that to notice where you have beliefs that are out of alignment, and you can use that situation also to strengthen your ability to assume that you are loved. This is something that Neville Goddard talks about a lot, is the law of assumption. It's when we assume that we are loved, then the universe has to show us that. So when you notice yourself worrying about what someone else thinks of you, or maybe you're thinking about what how someone else is perceiving you, it's also telling you a lot about how you're perceiving yourself. You're assuming that someone else is perceiving you in a certain way, and you don't actually know if that's true or not. So why not assume that they love you instead? Why not just assume that everyone you come into a contact with actually loves you? We have the choice to choose, the choice to choose. Hannah, you bought the book. Wow, I love that. Let me know how it goes reading it. We have the choice to assume that people actually love us. And when we do that, the universe will start to reflect our belief that people love us. And any relationship that is not reflecting that belief will not last long. Because for one, your assumption of that you are love will filter out people that do not love you. Your assumption of being infinite love of being wanted, of being valued. We'll filter out all the people that do not value you, that do not want you, that are acting in ways that contradict your belief. And then if someone comes in and triggers the opposite assumption, like, I'm not wanted, use that as a spiritual practice to say, okay, I'm noticing that this situation is bringing up fear that I'm not wanted. And I'm going to choose to assume a different state. So every time you're strengthening that ability to override the conditioning of assuming that it's like you're the issue, when actually it's more to do with their state of consciousness. This will upgrade your relationships. And relationships are literally life, because life is just relationships. Relationship to yourself, relationship to other people, your relationship to nature, your relationship to God, your relationship to animals, your relationship to your work, your relationship to your art. So when we assume that we are infinite love, we bring that state of consciousness to everything that we meet in life. And when we do this more and more and more throughout the day, our life completely shifts. The seeds that you plant will bloom in time. The seeds that you're planting right now will bloom in time. What you assume about yourself, your self-concept, is going to be those seeds that will bloom in time. And when we assume that we are love, we already feel love. We're no longer waiting for love because we're already in that state. So there's nothing to chase anymore. There's no desperate desire. When we're desiring something desperately, it's just because we have a feeling inside of us, maybe an emptiness that we're trying to avoid. So why don't we just go inwards, really feel it, assume that we are love, assume that we are loved, that we are cherished, and then there's nothing to chase. And when you're in that state, you start to draw people to you, because they see that your energy field, it's just so magnetic. And keep doing it all day. You want to stay in, of course, you want to do other spiritual practices, because I also teach things like shadow work, and that is kind of the opposite. It's not the opposite, but it's when we're doing these practices of assuming that we are love, we bring in light into our body, we are opening ourselves up to be a channel of love. Sometimes what happens is we start to notice beliefs come up, old beliefs. And so there is a time to go into these beliefs and really work with them. But that's a whole nother conversation. When you assume that you are loved, you start to talk differently. You start to take different actions. Whatever situation you find yourself in, imagine being in a state of love compared to in a state of believing that you are not worthy. How different that situation is going to pan out. And that's why I always say that the cause is our internal world. Because it's going to literally be a direct influence on what the consequence is of whatever it is that we're meeting in the moment. So that's why I make sure that my state is my top priority. And I ask myself all the time, what do I need to get back into alignment if I've found myself come out of alignment? And it's so simple to know if you've come out of alignment. You just tune in and see what you're feeling in the body. If you're feeling very constrictive, painful emotions, it's a sign that you're thinking thoughts that are out of alignment. Sometimes we go numb. If we've dissociated from our feelings for long enough, we become numb and we can't actually feel. And that's how we get into situations that are even more out of alignment for us. When we avoid our feelings, we just take ourselves deeper into situations that are out of alignment. Sometimes we're so out of alignment that even the thought of facing that can be so scary to us, because it brings up a lot of things that have been pushed down. And to face them would potentially mean completely shifting how we have our life set up. Or the people that we have around us, or you can start so small. You can start to change your diet, doing one little thing each day that starts to raise your vibration. What motivated you to dive into spirituality? Have you been to India? I haven't been to India, but I am planning to soon. Not actively planning, but I have a friend in Kerala, and so I would like to go really, maybe in the next year or so. But what motivated me to dive into spirituality? Thank you for your question. Many things. My brother used to, this is like 10 years ago now, my brother was teaching me about spirituality, and I found it really interesting. And then I realized how interested I was in learning about it. So I just never stopped. And I also, at the time, around the same time, was going through a breakup and started meditating and found that it was, for me, unbelievably helpful. I think I meditated for a couple weeks and then I stopped. And when I stopped, I was so aware of how much the meditation had helped me. So I made it like my mission to become consistent with meditation. And then, yeah, so I just started meditating and I haven't stopped. And I like to learn different practices. And my spiritual journey has gotten deeper and deeper. And I've just continued to read because I just want to learn and grow and evolve as much as I can whilst I'm on this planet, whilst I'm in this body, have a thirst for knowledge or wisdom and navigating the challenges of life in the most graceful way possible. So, and also teaching. I really love to share this with other people because I think it's so universal. Hannah Lucy said, "Could you help me get into alignment, please? What would your advice What would be your advice to someone who feels lost?" First of all, I just want to say to anyone that doesn't already know is that I do take 3 people through one-to-one sessions. And so if you want to really deep dive, like get the most out of these practices that I've been doing for years, feel free to send me an email because I would love to work with you and we could really go in more in depth and specifically to do with what it is that you're actually dealing with. Using different techniques. But in terms of feeling lost, I've had many times in my life where I feel lost. And one thing I would say is try to get out the mind as much as you can, coming into the body, doing body scan meditations. Try to do that like every day. And also ask yourself when you're in that state of quieting the mind, when you've brought your energy down into the body, you can ask yourself, whatever that part of you inside of you that is like saying, I feel lost, I feel lost. Okay. If there is a part of you that keeps saying, I feel lost, or I don't know what to do, when you keep thinking the thought, I don't know what to do, and you're unaware of the thought, I don't know what to do, you attract thoughts that are vibrating at the same frequency as that thought. So you just keep getting yourself deeper into, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. So what we want to do is work to get you to a state of, okay, I potentially do know what to do. And there's many ways you can do this. Lots of different practices that you can do. First of all, maybe do like a little meditation or an imagination exercise. Imagine yourself potentially knowing what you want to do, or potentially being in more of a clear state, and then see what comes up. Notice when you keep saying, oh, I don't know what I'm doing in life, or I feel so lost, I just don't know. Notice when you're having that thought and Notice the feeling that is connected to that thought. Bring your attention into the feeling and just observe it. When you do this, this creates space between you, the observer, consciousness, and the feeling inside the body, which is connected to the thoughts. You create space between you and the thoughts, the belief, because you are not your beliefs. You are not your thoughts. You're not your feelings. You are a much deeper essence, the one that is observing those. Creating a little bit of space, stopping that loop of thoughts that are all compounding when you're, I don't know what to do, and you're creating more thoughts and attracting more thoughts that are like that. Or if you just keep thinking, I feel so lost in life, you can write this down and journal it out. But when you do, you want to make sure that you're doing it with the intention to disidentify with it. Know that that's not you. The deeper part of you, you as a consciousness, actually always knows what to do. Always. It's just that our mind can completely fog that intuition. So once you've really felt into that and you've created a little bit of space, then you can start questioning, okay, and you can start bringing yourself into the state of, what would it feel like if I potentially knew what I wanted to do? If I potentially knew what I needed to do right now? Or if I potentially knew what I wanted in life? Start asking yourself how that would feel. And then what you're doing is bringing this vibration into your body. And so your subconscious will start to look for more thoughts, more ideas that are linked to that that are vibrating at that frequency. Instead of I don't know what to do. You're now intentionally bringing yourself into the state of, what would it feel like if I potentially did know? What would I be doing? How would I feel? You can also ask yourself, you can do it like a little exercise of whatever you've got in your life right now. Say it's like your relationships, your friendships, or your career, or where the way your life is set up, where you're living. Do a little exercise of writing down or even going in a meditation and doing it. And asking yourself, what would be one thing that would be an improvement to my life right now? And you can ask yourself, what would the best case scenario be? This is a really good way to get in touch with your higher self. Imagine yourself in the best case scenario of your career. What would that look like to you? What did it feel like? Is there lots of people around you? Are you leading? Or are you more in the background? Are you quiet on your own doing art? Or are you out in a big crowd? Are you doing something that requires labor? Are you doing something in nature? Are you cooking? What is it that you specifically think of when you think, what would be the best case scenario? If I could have anything I wanted, if there were no limits on money, if money wasn't an issue, if I could literally do whatever I wanted, what would be the best case scenario? And then start to allow answers to come up. And notice how you feel when you do that. It's likely to make you feel a little bit of excitement or maybe more expansive. The things that we want in life make us feel expansive. It's a good way to decide how to choose what to do in life if you're stuck between two options or more than one, is to visualize yourself doing each of these things. And then how do you feel? Do you feel constrictive emotions when you visualize something? Then that's not for you. If you feel expansive when you visualize yourself doing something, then that's for you, or that's something that you're more likely to, that's something that you should go towards. It might change along the way because we're always updating things. Like, for example, over Christmas, I had this feeling that I really wanted to learn how to use a sewing machine, and I wanted to learn how to make my own clothes. And I've been wanting to do this for years. And so I bought a sewing machine, and it was really exciting for me. I started doing it, and I was like, this is not for me. I don't want to do this anymore. But I'm glad that I tried it, and now I can move on and try something else. And when I tried my YouTube channel, I haven't stopped in years because I feel like it's in alignment for me. I want to keep going. So notice what comes up when you ask yourself, okay, what kind of things do I want to try? Do them, and you learn about yourself. What kind of things you do like about certain things. I remember when I worked in recruitment, for example, I just learned I don't ever want to work in an office ever again. It's not for me. I don't feel like myself. And when I visualize what the best case scenario would be for me, often it's a lot to do with community and leading community. So I know that I have to, even though I have no idea how this is all going to work out, like this is all God's, plan, and I am just following orders every single day. But I have my mindset on this is what makes me feel the most expansive. And so I'm going to go towards that direction. And each day I pray for help. How do I get there? What's one thing I can do today that's going to bring me closer to that thing that makes me feel more expansive? And every time I'm taking action on it, I feel so good. Not because I've achieved it yet, but because I'm just going towards what I desire. We don't have to achieve the thing in order to feel good. We just have to be in alignment and going towards something that's in alignment. And then we can feel more peace every single day. Doesn't mean it's not challenging. There's been so many challenges on my path of the direction that I'm going in. But that path has allowed me to expand. It has allowed me to evolve. It has allowed me to become more trusting in myself, in my intuition, in my ability to continue going towards what it is that I want. Doing scary things and knowing that every time you do something that's scary, it just gets less scary. Hannah, it's not too late to email me. No, it's fine. Send me an email. And if I'm able to respond, then I will, my love. I'll respond as soon as I can. I wonder if you have a sketchbook of designs too. I do. I love art, but not my fashion designs. I used to actually draw a lot of um, outfits and stuff, but I do draw a lot of girls with different outfits on. It's kind of fun. I'm just reading through your comments, guys. Thanks, Dan, for helping out, by the way. I just saw that you're going, so. Happy birthday, the best transport. Pisces gang. It's my birthday in 3 days, guys. Pisces season. I love Pisces season. Has anyone else got anything that they are currently feeling stuck with that they want guidance on? Let me know in the chat. I hope what I said helped, Hannah. I don't know if it landed for you or not. Zaza, Snoop Parrot, you said I'm feeling stuck. What are you feeling stuck with? You're definitely not alone. One thing that I really, really realized in life, because I've definitely felt a lot of times where like I'm alone, or like I just feel like what I'm going through. It sometimes feels like you're the only one in the world, especially with social media. But I've noticed now, and this is why I'm so open about speaking about stuff, is that if I'm going through it, there's probably millions of other people that are also going through the same thing, because we're all so connected in the collective consciousness. We're all so connected through we have very similar conditioning, not the same obviously, because we all come from different families and different cultures and stuff, but as a whole we have a lot in common. How do you fix a weak point in personalities? Okay, that's a good question. Thank you so much for that question. The thing that pops into my head as soon as you say this is astrology. And let me explain, okay? And also the gene keys, and I'm going to explain this a little bit more. Both astrology and the gene keys, they are different ways that explain the spectrum of human consciousness and how we have both shadows and gifts within our personalities. And every shadow, or you said weakness, but I don't like the word weakness because it can be something that is a weakness, but I just prefer the term shadow. Because I think that a weakness implies that it's not good, or it's something that is bad about you. Whereas when you say shadow, it's something that isn't being expressed. It's not bad about you, it's just not being expressed in the most high vibrational way. And every shadow can be transformed into its more high vibrational version, more high vibrational expression. Let me give you an example, okay? So someone that has a lot of Taurus, right? Or just the zodiac of Taurus. One of the characteristics of Taurus is that they can be it's a very stable, steady, and this energy that when expressed at a lower frequency can be quite stubborn, especially when it comes to change, for example. And it depends where it is on your chart, but just in terms of the general energy of Taurus. So if it's being expressed in its lower frequency, you might find it really difficult to deal with change. Whereas when it is expressed at its more higher frequency, then you are able to bring in this stability and stableness without being so rigid. Does that make sense? I'll give you another example, okay? It's like with Pisces. Pisces energy is very ephemeral, like spiritual and intuitive. And so someone that is in the shadow frequency of Pisces can be too inwards. Like they're not bringing enough into the world. They're not manifesting because they're staying in the spiritual realms too much. They might be very creative. They might be getting a lot of ideas. They might be very good at meditating and being in stillness and being in calm spaces, but they might lack if you're at a lower vibration, you might lack the ability to bring those ideas into the world. And so that's why you need to be able to balance that out, okay? By bringing in a little bit of fire, something. But when expressed at a more higher frequency, Pisces is very good at being intuitive and using that energy in a more balanced way. When we're at a lower frequency, we're more likely to be we're more likely to have this self-concept that is it's like especially with Pisces energy, it's like we're likely to be insecure and in like going inwards because we're insecure, not going inwards because we're confidently wanting to bring in the intuitive um spiritual messages in, and then using that energy to go out into the world and take that energy to manifest something or create something. One of the shadows of Pisces might be like being out of balance with emotions, being very depressed, being very um, stuck in the emotional realm. It's a very much an inner energy. And so when expressed at a high frequency, it's like Pisces is so good with emotions, so good at feeling, so good at being compassionate because they've felt their own emotions. And so they can understand others, they can help others. But if they're at a lower frequency, they're not going to be able to help others because they're not going to have the confidence to do that. And then you've got a sign like Gemini, for example, which is very intellectual. So it's like the opposite of Pisces. I don't think it's the opposite sign, but in terms of it's not an emotional sign, but it's the same kind of concept where if you're out of balance with Gemini, you might be intellectualizing your emotions too much, or you're just cut off from your emotions completely. So you're very much stuck in the intellectual realms. You might be not very good at listening to others. You could be very it could be a shadow that you just speak so much and you don't listen. But if expressed at a higher frequency, Gemini can be amazing speakers. amazing at getting across these concepts, or being really good preachers, for example, but also balancing that out with listening to the other, learning to do that. So we all have these challenges in our personalities, and often we can't see them. Is that making sense? How do you balance the flexibility? I feel like when it comes to balancing flexibility, it's probably about having boundaries, because we have to know when it's a no, or when we are, and you can do that by just feeling into your body. What does this, is this a no for me, or is this a yes for me? Is that what you meant? Like, in terms of flexibility, what did you mean? Oh, okay, I see what you're saying, because you were saying about, because we were talking about Taurus and you're a Taurus. So you're saying, how do you bring more flexibility? Honestly, I would say that, is that something you struggle with, Hannah? Like, do you find yourself resisting to change? Hypo Joe, I'm a Scorpio. It's a complete minefield. Lots of destructive interference. What do you mean? I know I have a Scorpio friend. I would love to know more about what you mean by that your experience, because I feel like he's the same. Zaza, just tell me the name, Amy. What do you mean? What name? Okay, Hannah, I'm guessing you're saying you struggle with change a little bit. How to balance the flexibility. I mean, I just want to say one thing, is that it's not necessarily that you need to become like the most flexible person that like goes with the flow, for example. One of my best friends is a Taurus, and she has like three Taurus, like her top three planets are Taurus. And me and her are so different, because I am so Pisces, so I'm very flexible, very flowy, and she's not. And it doesn't mean that she, for example, for her, she has a Taurus in the moon, and the moon represents the emotions. So for her, she can get quite stubborn with her, how she feels about things, or with her emotions. So one thing that she could do to, like, that can be viewed as a positive as well, because maybe it means that you really stand by the things that you believe and care about, but maybe sometimes it means that you're not able to allow that process of the emotional flow. So for her, it would be actively doing practices that help her to move that emotion. And I know for her, one thing that she likes to do is exercise and run. And I think that really helps her to move emotion. Can you give me a specific? Why did you say wow? And can you give me like a specific example of how in your life you struggle with being flexible? Your moon is in Aquarius. One thing you can do, Hannah, is learn about flexible signs, like Pisces, for example, and see where in your life you want to bring aspects of that energy into your life, or even just the water signs. Just learn about the element of water and how doing certain things can help you to tap into that flowy energy. For me, I love to dance because dancing, especially if you're just intuitively moving to whatever music makes you feel like yourself, you don't even have to use music, but sometimes I just do it without music. But doing that and really tapping into the flow of energy can help you to tap into that flexibility. Doing like yoga, it's literally a flexibility practice, can help you to be more flexible spiritually. Because it's you're tapping into an energy. Obviously, you're doing it on a physical sense, but especially with dance, I notice I get myself into this state where I am allowing myself to go with the flow. And you can use that when you teach your body to do that, you can use the wisdom that you're gaining from allowing your mind to let go and be in flow to bring that to other areas of your life. Let me see. Let me get up the book that I have about the elements because it's really helpful. Because flexibility is all to do with the element of water. So you can literally um calling on Betty Boop. She actually just looked up as well. Look, I'll show you. Betty, they're calling on you, girl. Hello. Come. Bitty boobies. Do you want to come up here? Come. Come then. Come. Okay, she doesn't want to. Sorry guys, I got a bit sidetracked there. I like that you're making people aware for yoga and meditation. I love yoga and meditation. What are you doing? Hi, how are you? I'm good, thank you, Rona. How are you? Yes, so as I was saying, if you want to tap into that more, that energy of going with the flow more, then, or being more flexible, then you can learn about the energy of water. Let me just read you some of the energies. It's literally staying in touch with your feelings, sensitivity, intuitiveness, emotions, music, meditation and yoga. Artwork. I know you were saying that you love to make music, so that could be a way. But I really want to know what you mean in terms of how to balance the flexibility, because I would love to know in what terms in your life do you want to do that. Do you like Buddhism? Yeah. I feel like a lot of the things that I learn are actually really linked with Buddhism, or like the way I like to live my life in terms of being in the present moment and being aware of our thoughts. It's all like this stuff is taught a lot in Buddhism. Zaza, Snoop Parrot, you're a Sagittarius. The fire. What is everyone's sun sign, guys? And where is everyone from? And do you think, guys, do you want me to start doing tarot readings? Because I could start bringing out the tarot cards, maybe. We love Sag Gang. I love Sagittarius. Sagittarius is like really. Sagittarius and Pisces, they're just such a good mix because both such spiritual and they're both, what's the word? Mutable signs. Pisces is mutable water, and then Sag is mutable fire. So it's fun. But I also love Taurus people because, like, two of my best friends are Taurus, and they really ground me. Like, one of my best friends who's a Taurus, she's so good at organizing. This is the thing as well, Hannah. You want to tap into those, like, find out the Taurus shadows, and or just if you, I know you've already got that book that I told you about, but if you look at the earth shadows and gifts, start seeing where you're currently expressing from. Like, if you're, for example, let me get up the earth shadows and gifts and then I can explain it to you a little bit more. And maybe you'll resonate, who knows? Okay, earth. Strengths of earth. Hardworking and focused. Working to achieve results. Has the ability to complete what needs to be done. Ruled by ambition, loyalty and integrity. A devoted employee, friend and companion. Appreciates creature comforts and enjoys nurturing others. Contributes, manifests and provides equally for all creatures. Plans and builds carefully for the future. Accepts hardship as a reality of life. Self-reliant and resilient. And then you've got the shadows of earth, which are exaggerated need for material possessions and physical resources. Exaggerated need for material. Okay, I said this twice. Don't believe they are doing a good enough job. All work and no play. Expressing emotions is difficult. Keep busy to avoid them. See, that's what I said about getting in touch with your emotions by going into the meditation and yoga and into the body. Obsessive follower of rules. Minimal flexibility with game plans. Clings to cautious, conservative action, wants an insurance plan and everything clean cut and clear. Defensive, strict and demanding, smothers loved ones by possessiveness, unwilling to make changes once settled into a routine, leaning towards know-it-all. See, obviously this is just a overview of what Earth can express like. And so it's good to read these things and see, okay, where in my life am I currently acting out these um, characteristics? And once you become aware of it, that's when you lift out of it. Because as soon as you become aware of a pattern, you start to break it. But if we're unaware that we're doing it, if we're unaware that we're playing out this pattern, we just stay in it. You literally cannot shift a pattern if you're not aware of it. You have to become aware of it to change it. So that's why I love to read all this stuff, because I'm like, maybe I'm doing that. And I can see myself being like that. Earth signs are usually very good for like leadership roles as well. But obviously it depends what your whole birth chart is, because it's going to make a massive difference when you look at all of your different planets. The book I'm reading from is The Missing Element by Deborah Silverman. It's a really good book, guys. So if you fancy that. I'm gonna end this live soon, guys, probably at 9:30. Do you analyze birth charts? You know what? I feel like it's something that I will do in the future, because just because I love to do it for fun. So I always pull up my friends' birth charts, and that's how I'm learning to do it, is just by analyzing them. And so yes, I do like to do it. Maybe one day I'll actually do like one-to-one astrology sessions. That would be so cool. I'm getting there. Summarize the book, please, in less than 5 seconds. God, 5 seconds is kind of short, but the missing element is just literally, it's telling you about the different elements of astrology. It's the foundation of astrology. It's so good. Once you learn the elements, you can start to understand astrology so much better, so much easier. Yes, Hannah, maybe we will manifest a astrology reading one day. I would love that. What did you say about the tarot, by the way? I was thinking about bringing my tarot cards one day because I do like to do tarot readings. I'm not like, I don't do it all the time, but maybe I could one day. Do you believe in astrology? 100% yes. Of course. The way that I see astrology is that when we were born, and obviously I'm talking about in terms of us and how it links to us. So, or even not even just when we're born. Let me just start a clean slate of that sentence. Astrology is all to do with, so the the position of the planets in the sky is like a map for the energy on Earth. That's literally it. It's a map. It's just telling you what is the energy that's in the sky. So when you were born, there was a specific map. The map was in a specific, I keep losing my words today. The map had a specific energy when you were born, so that affected how you came out. And yeah, really interesting. Because cause and effect, guys. Every cause has an effect. And the planets moving around have an effect. Do you believe in God? Yes, I do. I'm not Christian, but I do believe that we are all the source. We are all part of the source, meaning we are all an expression of God. We are all an expression of source consciousness. Which God do you believe in? I mean, I believe there's only one source. We're all connected to it. Thank you. Chiwendu, thank you. Appreciate that. What's your destiny? Who bloody knows? What source? I don't know what it's just like I find the word source is such a good word for God because it's like the source of everything that that is manifesting out. Hannah, we love you. Thank you so much for sharing all this light with us today. Thank you for being here and thank you for your beautiful words. I appreciate you. What do you think about Islam? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of golden nuggets of wisdom that come from Islam. I think every spiritual tradition, religion, has its gifts and its shadows, just like us, because humans are expressing it. So we often we tend to do that with everything. There's always going to be people that are expressing from shadow consciousness in every organization, in you know. So there's always going to be the light and the dark. Are you a posh? I'm not a posh. Or maybe I am. Who knows? When you say the source of everything, do you mean good and evil? I mean the source of everything. Do you believe in single God or multiple God? I believe that we all come from the same source, so there is one singular source in the at the very, like, how do you say it? Like there's a oneness to the universe where everything is connected. But then I do believe that there are probably like creator gods that are clumps of consciousness, just like humans, or they're like, I don't know, I feel like they are just consciousness expressing in a different way. But they all come from the same source. Is our destiny written in our birth charts? I don't think so. I'll tell you why. Because your state of consciousness has an influence over everything. So let's say it might be in your destiny, for example, that you are going to, like, I don't know if this is true, but let's just say that it was destiny for you to meet someone on a specific day. Depending on how much you have, how conscious you are, that's going to affect how you meet that person and what happens with that person. Does that make sense? If you are, if you have less consciousness, you're more likely to play out patterns. It's almost like you don't have as many choices. Well, it is. It's literally, you don't have as many choices when you are unconscious because you are just playing out conditions and conditioning and patterns. Whereas when we become more conscious, we have more free will. We have more availability options that come available to us because we're able to see out of our limited perspective. And so we can start to, okay, I could do this instead. I could do this. I could say this instead of being reactive and thinking this is the only way that I can react to this situation. This is how we start to open up all different possibilities of how we live on Earth. If your destiny is not written, how do you believe in astrology? Okay, so let's say that when you came into Earth, because there's a lot, it sounds really woo woo, okay? But if you look into near death experiences, there's a lot of evidence to suggest that we choose our lives. Like we choose to come in and to experience certain things because we want to learn certain things. And so you may choose that you want to come into this body. For example, I might have chosen to come in and be Amy. And so there is certain things that are written, that are destiny. For example, I have come in with a certain level of conditioning or my own unique expression, which is like a prism that I can't really escape. There's always going to be certain things that you can't really escape, certain conditioning that you're always going to have, or certain attributes about yourself that you can't change because that is you. And so that is part of your destiny. But then it's like, okay, how do we become more aware of how to use our destiny, our destined traits, or our destined way of expressing to our benefit and to the benefit of the whole, instead of being like a slave to them? like when we're in our shadow frequency, we're like a slave to all of our characteristics. But when we raise our vibration, we start to understand our strengths and understand that we have a unique place in this world. And we can start tapping into our strengths, tapping into our divine nature. It's like going into a video game. Do you believe in our higher selves? Yes, Hannah. And I'm actually writing a book right now called Living from the Higher Self. It's actually, I originally wrote the title as Speaking to the Higher Self, but I'm thinking about changing the title to Living from the Higher Self. And I literally explain this. So I don't know when that's going to come out, but I will let you know when it does. I admire how in touch with the earth you are while still being so spiritually aware. And this is something I have had to um, be aware of, because I do have actually quite a balanced chart. The one element that I'm missing a little bit is the air element. So for me, it's the analytical part of things. And I mean, I could go into it more, but I can't bother to get the book, and I've forgotten a lot of the traits, which is quite funny, because it's funny how the element that I am least interested in is, of course, the one that I have the least of. And I think that's funny, because obviously I need to learn more about that element, and that will help me in some way. And I'm going to do that today. I'm going to do that actually tomorrow, because that's just reminded me that I need to really start tapping into air more, probably. But yes, I do find that I can be quite. I have had to actually. I've had times in my life where I have been really in my water. Like I had, especially when I was first going through my spiritual awakening, because I was meditating and realizing the benefits of meditation. I wasn't really manifesting. I was just meditating all the time. And I was just, yeah, wanting to be in stillness all the time. And like wasn't bringing my, and that's part of my spiritual maturity path, was learning the cycle of creation, which is what I call it, because it's balancing everything out and being in this cycle constantly of going inwards and then taking action straight, or like taking action when it feels right to do that, and then going through the rest of the cycle. So I've definitely had my times where I've been out of balance. How do we become aware of our strengths without letting outsiders decide them? For one, I would say try new things and notice what you enjoy, because our strengths are very much connected to things that we enjoy doing, like naturally. And but you sometimes we do get stuck in these ruts of like we haven't really tried anything. Like if you're not really doing new things, then it's hard to just like figure that out sometimes. So just literally try so many different new things, and then you'll know when it's time to stop, or you've had enough of trying new things, or you've learned so much about yourself that you now know which direction to go into, you know? Like I was saying before, like when I came out of university, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I got a job in an office, and I quickly realized, okay, this is not for me. And I had this little intuition that I want to do something more creative. So then I started drawing again because when I was a kid, I used to like drawing. So that's another thing you can do, is try to remember when you were a kid, what were the things that you naturally were drawn to? That is part of your unique essence. What were the things that you enjoyed doing as a kid that maybe you forgot to do for years? Or maybe you were in school and then, like for me, I used to really like doing art. And then when I was at school, I took art as a GCSE, and the school system diminished my creativity because I didn't fit in the art class. Everyone in the art class was so good at doing what the teachers told them to do, and I was crap. So then I took on this belief, oh, well, then I must be bad at art. I must not be creative. Like I just, and then for years and years and years, I stopped creating. And it wasn't until I was like 21 years old that I was like, okay, I used to do art when I was a kid, so maybe I should get back into that. And I did. I really enjoyed it. And then I had to deal with all these beliefs that I was crap at it, because that was what was coming up whilst I was doing the art. Almost like wanting me to stop, like trying to get me to stop. These demons, you know, these negative beliefs about myself that I had adopted when I was at school. They weren't true. I'm actually a very creative person. And if I hadn't have tried doing that, I wouldn't have tapped back into my creative nature. And now I like literally am so creative. It's funny to me that for like probably like 10 years of my life, I didn't do anything creative. Like, how is that possible for me? All because of a belief that I adopted that I wasn't good at doing stuff like that. And then I became more and more out of alignment, ending up in a job that was so out of alignment, sitting at a desk all day, doing repetitive stuff all day, which is literally so out of alignment with my nature. Some people are really, really good at doing repetitive things. I am not that person. It gives me, ugh, like, I cannot. So I had to get out of alignment to get back into alignment, you know, like I went so far into out of alignment where I'm in this job that I absolutely hate, just feels soul destroying. And for me to go, this is not right. Let me try something new. But thank God I had that experience, because that showed me what I don't like. So we need to go towards things that we actually enjoy. It's part of our purpose. What's your divine nature? I mean, it's a good question. I don't really know the answer to that question. Snoop Parrot, you should write a book, Amy. I actually am writing a book. I've just been very busy recently, so I haven't been so like on it. But this book is also, it's a small book. It's actually more like a PDF. I might put at, because I've thought about it. I've thought about making it into an actual book. But then I'm like, this one I kind of want to just put it out as a little PDF, like maybe like a mini book. So I'm thinking that should come out this year. And it's also got lots of like reflective questioning on it as well that helps you to connect with your higher self. So exciting. And I explain all the qualities of the higher self. So if you ever feel like you're in a low state, you can tap into those qualities. Like, for example, one of the qualities of the higher self is that the higher self is always in a state of clarity, coherence, and stability. That is a quality of the higher self. So if you're not feeling that, it's because you're stuck in the mind or you're identifying with the mind. Hi, Paradox. I'm well. How are you? Also, guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel but you do enjoy these lives, please do subscribe so that you don't miss any. in the future. Oh my God, yes, so many schools in the UK don't pay enough mind. There's not enough encouragement to the creatives or any of the arts. Yeah, I know. Oh, like I could talk about the education system for a long time, but I'm probably not going to do that right now. It's not exactly set up for our unique expression. Let's just say that. It's not exactly set up for us to find our essence either, which I think is really important. I think Betty wants to go to the toilet, so hang on. But that's why I'm starting a spirit school. Not right now actively planning a spirit school, but calling it in. I'm sure one day that will happen. My intuition says so. Spirit school. Who would come to spirit school, guys? Who would send their kids to spirit school? I mean, it's starting to sound a little bit religious, actually. It's not. I want to teach people just to find their essence. And I would love to do that for kids. Like, I feel like it should be the first thing we teach kids is getting in touch with their essence. Like, imagine if we were taught from young. It'd be so different. Any advice on quitting social media app addiction like Discord and focusing more on real life? Okay, let's see. Let me see what comes up. Okay. So when you notice yourself going to, if you can catch yourself going to like play out this addiction. So when you catch your, thing is, a lot of the time we end up just being on our phones, and then it's like, hang on a second, how did this even get in my hand? And you're already scrolling. So if you can catch yourself before you do it, try to ask yourself, what is it that I'm feeling right now? What is it that I'm avoiding through whatever the addiction is? But in this case, it's social media app addiction. What is that feeling that I'm avoiding? And then maybe just try to wait 3 minutes and then go on it. And over time, slowly increase those minutes. So what you're doing is you're actively building your muscle to choose a different option, and building your muscle to really feel into that, whatever that uncomfortable feeling is that you're avoiding through the addiction. You want to also start to, if you do decide, if you do see yourself playing out that addiction, do it consciously. You might, because addictions can be so, like, we don't want to be so hard on ourselves. This is something I learned from my dependency on weed, guys. Okay, I used to be very dependent on weed when at one point I was just smoking every day, and I couldn't, or I found it so difficult to stop doing that. So I'm relating this experience to your social media addiction and how I got out of it. So for me, I had to be really easy on myself, okay? And I would do that thing where if I noticed myself going to like smoke weed, it's like such a pull where it's almost like where I've been grabbed on by the addiction. it's really hard to like pull myself out of it, but I started to notice when I was in it. And so I was doing, and then it got to the point where, okay, I'm doing this consciously. I know that I'm going to smoke weed. I still am going to choose to do it, but I'm doing it consciously. So if you do that, that's going to start to um, increase your consciousness. And then you can also start to see if you can sit with that feeling. Okay, so for me, it's like, okay, I'm noticing that I'm going to go smoke weed. And I'm noticing there's an uncomfortable feeling inside of me that I'm not wanting to sit with. It'd just be so much easier to go and smoke weed. So let me just sit with this feeling for like 5 minutes, see how I feel. Do I still want to smoke weed after? Sometimes you might sit with the feeling and the feeling goes and then you don't even have the desire to play out the addiction anymore. That's where it got for me in the end. Or I would, for me, I also, a really big piece of advice that I would give to anyone that is trying to cut down on addiction is don't just go cold turkey with it. Start cutting down incrementally. If you're noticing that you're on social media for like 10 hours a day, for example, start reducing that down each day. Tomorrow I'm just going to do 7 hours. And then, or this week, I'm going to have one day off. That might be a little bit difficult, I don't know, but just reduce it slightly each day. And then your mind isn't so much noticing it because you're still allowing yourself to do that addiction, but then slowly just reducing it. And then over time, it reduces down to almost nothing. So for me, when I was quitting weed, I would say to myself, okay, well, I used to smoke every day. I'm going to reduce down to like 5 days a week. And now, then, okay, it got to a point where I was like, I'm only going to smoke on the weekends. And then it got to the point where I was like, I don't even want to smoke on the weekends anymore because I feel so good when I'm not doing it, because of all the extra time I gain when I'm not doing it. Also, another tip I want to give you if you're trying to cut down on an addiction, fill up your time, because what happens when we start to detach from an addiction, we end up having so much time on our hands, especially if we're addicted to doing something a lot. We open up a lot of space and time. So we need to be either trying new things, finding things that we enjoy doing, filling up our time with seeing your favorite people, going out in nature, enjoying other things. Find those things that make you feel so passionate and so excited, that light you up, that now it's like, okay, that's so much better to me than sitting on social media all day. Like for me, I have no desire to watch TV because there are so many things that I could be doing creatively that I just love to do. I love to make videos. I love to go live. I love to draw. I love to go out in nature. So it's like, what? Like, unless one day I'm just so tired and I really do fancy watching TV, then that's different. But a lot, I'm not just doing it for the sake of it, because there's so many different things that I really, really enjoy doing. Sometimes we have to try lots of new things to get there, to realize what it is that really lights us up and gets us going. I know. That was funny. I'm just reading through the comments. No, no offense to them. They're great, but there's no room for creatives. What's our superpower? What our superpower? Yes. I always doom scroll when I'm doing nothing, so I usually paint instead because I spend hours upon hours on it. Yes. Painting, like, or drawing for me can take up so much time once I get into it. And I think it's a much better use of time than just doom scrolling, because we're literally activating our divine mind. I don't Not divine mind. We're activating our creative mind. And one thing I love is that Eckhart Tolle said is like, anytime you're doing something, like, and I link this to my creative projects, is do it with the intention of bringing more consciousness onto the planet. So when you're painting, it's like every brush stroke, you're feeling that brush stroke with your whole body. And then when you do that, it affects how your artwork turns out. It's a much more embodied piece of art. I just need to toss my phone off the balcony. By the way, and I just thought, this is what I know I said about not going cold turkey, but I actually that just reminded me. There was a point in my life, and this was around the time that I was really consistently meditating, like as in when I first started consistently meditating, because I still do consistently meditate, but I remember being so addicted to my phone, and I decided, right, that's it, I'm going to delete social media for like 6 months, and I did, and it was so good for me. So sometimes you do just need that. Like, maybe for you, it is actually, you could just delete your Discord for a little while, detach from it, and then come back to it when you aren't detached, so that you're using it in a healthy way. Because I do believe that social media has a lot of strengths. Obviously, I fucking use it all the time, you know, I love it. But I use it to help. I try my best not to let it use me. I use it intentionally. So, but sometimes to get to that point where you're using it intentionally, you just need to detach or have a detox. Like, we all just need a detox sometimes, just to be recentered. And when we recenter, we get a lot of inspiration for the other things that we want to get done, what we want to do. Do you believe Friday the 13th is unlucky? No, I was born on the 13th. I don't know if it was Friday, but this Friday the 13th is my birthday. So why would that be unlucky? I don't think it's unlucky. I think it's very lucky. That's one thing I stopped doing, was I do not go on my phone for like at least usually 2 hours in the morning, if not an hour, like if I'm in a rush and I need to use it. But the first 2 hours of the morning, I am not on my phone, and I haven't been for years. And that has been a game changer. They say that the morning is the childhood of your day. And I do believe that, because you're literally setting yourself up for the rest of the day. So if you can wake up and then get yourself into a state where you are actively aligning with your higher self through your spiritual practices, then, and you do that every single day, that will compound and completely shift your whole life. Okay, thank you, my love. Thank you, Zaza. I really appreciate your help, my love. Have a good night. Thank you, Pratush. Pratush? Sorry, I don't know how to say your name. I said I would leave at 9:30, so I think I'm going to go now. Thank you to my mods. You're such beautiful humans for helping. Yes, Zeus. Have a little detox. And you'll be amazed at what opens up in your life. Maybe once you get it's just that usually when we go through a detox though, there's a period of purging, like stuff coming to the surface that we have been avoiding. So just be really easy on yourself. Make sure that you're sending a lot of compassion into your body when that's coming up. Remind yourself that it's part of the process. And on the other side of that, you will level up. We've got to get comfortable with sitting with uncomfortable feelings in order to detach from addictions. It's like the only way. But when we actually learn to do that, life just gets so much better. Thanks, Heartthrob. Sometimes I try to stay away from my phone first thing, but the boss loves to send a message overnight. I would fully not answer. Like, I feel like my phone's on Do Not Disturb. I don't turn my phone off Do Not Disturb until a good few hours. I'm like, whoever needs me, like, it will have to wait for a little while because I need this time to get myself into a good state so that I can come to them with my best energy. That's my intention. When I come to you, it'll be such better energy because I've sorted myself out. I'm not one to be talking to people early in the morning, guys. I like my quiet time. Thanks, Hannah. Love you, hun. Have a lovely evening. Oh, were you not saying love you to me? Are you going to bed? Or are you saying goodnight somewhere else? Okay, guys, I'm jumping off now. I need to go and get ready for bed. And I will, yeah, let you know. You know, the next few days are kind of busy for me, so I'm going to try my best. I really do want to come back on here tomorrow. And tomorrow should be fine. Maybe. I always say might be shorter, but then I end up staying on here for like nearly 3 hours and it's the same story every day, so you just never know. I can't help it. I love being live. I love chatting to you guys. I love having spiritual conversations. That's what lights me up in life. And so why not do it, eh? Until I want to stop. And what was I going to say? If anyone wants to book a one-to-one session for next week, let me know. I have a couple of spaces free still. And you can send me an email at hello@amylouisesamp.com, and that is also on my bio. It's in the description. I'm going to be posting a lot of shorts and videos soon. My Instagram is also amylouisesamp, so you can find me on there because I post a lot of creative things on my Instagram, always to do with spirituality, pretty much, because I can't help it. It's just how I express. And what else? Should we do a little prayer before I go? I like to end on a prayer. Okay. Thank you for another beautiful day on earth. Thank you for another opportunity to connect with other humans around the world that are also interested in self improvement, that are interested in spirituality. Thank you for always connecting me with the right people at the right time. And thank you for allowing me to see the positives in any situation that I am dealt with. Thank you for helping me to extract the lessons from any challenges that I'm going through. Thank you for the ability to experience life in this body in and express my unique divine expression every single day. Please show me how I can be of service in a way that is in harmony with my nature so that my magic and medicine can grant others to believe that anything is possible. And may we send love to anyone that is suffering on the planet right now. May we send loving energy to any person, any people on the planet that need it right now. God, please help. Just help to shift the perspectives of anyone on the planet that needs that guidance and that help. And may we bring more peace onto earth with every action that we do. Thank you. Amen. Okay, guys. Thank you for a lovely evening again, and I will see you. Ramen. All right. See you later, guys. Have a good night or morning, wherever, what time it is. Goodbye. Peace. Namaste. Have a beautiful day. And also, thank you, Dan and Zaza. Don't know if you're still here, but thank you so much. Bye.